Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we will be visual pathway. I'll be explaining this on this diagram only. So now there are two things to this visual pathway. One is from where do the fibers come, where there is an optic chiasm, and which fibers cross, which do not cross. Okay. So now as we know that the vision is, we should know from here the takeaway point is that there are two fibers which come. One is your lateral fibers, and the other ones are your medial fibers. Now, what do we mean when we say lateral fibers and medial fibers? Why should we know? Because lateral fibers relay on same side of eye, relay on same side. What this means is, if lateral fibers are coming from right eye, they go to the right side of the brain. But if they're coming from the left eye, they will go to the left side. But the medial fibers are opposite. That is they will relay on the opposite side. Opposite They will relay on the opposite side. What this means is that if they are coming from the right eye, they'll go to the left side of the brain. So they will relay on the opposite side. Right eye will project to the left side of the brain, and the left eye will project to the right side of the brain. So this is important because if there is any lesion over here, if there is complete transection, then the vision will be entirely lost in the same eye. So it will be complete anopia, the complete loss of vision. Similarly, here, if there is any lesion, there will be complete anopia in the same eye. But be, so this part is your optic chiasm. That is the one where there is crossing up of fibers. So if there is any lesion, if there is any lesion at the part of the optic chiasm, so if there is any complete transection over here, if this is the complete transection point, then there will be hemianopia in both the eyes. So the medial part, so where the fibers are crossing, the medial part will be lost in both the eyes because there is crossing over. If there is any lesion at the level of the chiasm, then there will be hemianopia, that is loss of half the vision. The medial vision will be lost. The medial vision will be lost in both the eyes. Now, if right now if there is a lesion at the level of the at when at the level of the optic tract, then what will happen what will happen, the lateral vision of the same side will be lost. So if there is left optic tract, so if there is this one is your right side, right? So if there is right optic tract lesion, then the lateral vision of the same eye, that is the right eye, will be lost. So hemianopia of the right side of the eye, and but there will be medial vision loss in the left eye as well, because the optic tract is formed from the lateral vision uh, fibers from one eye, and the medial vision fibers from the opposite eye as well. Similarly, if there is any downwards below the optic tract, if there is any lesion, similar thing will happen. Now, what happens if there is a lesion? Like if this is the lesion, that it takes away your optic chiasm as well, and it takes up the part of your lateral part. So in this side, there will be complete anopia because the medial fiber is gone from the optic chiasm, and the lateral fibers are gone from your junction. But here in your right eye, there will be only hemianopia because only the medial fibers are going from the chiasm. So this is some of the points about the lesions of the optic tract, why we should know the visual pathway. So yeah, from the retina, so the visual pathway, now, coming back to the basics, your visual pathway begins with the fibers at the retina. Then these fibers converge at the optic nerve, right? They form the optic nerve. But at the optic chiasm, which is this part, the medial fibers separate out and they go into the optic tract of the opposite side. So what I said here, going a little slow, the optic nerve carries the medial and lateral fibers both from an eye, but at the optic chiasm, the medial fibers would separate. The medial fibers would separate, and they will join the optic tract of the opposite side. So what happens here? The optic nerve carries carries both medial and lateral fibers, but at the chiasm, the medial fibers separate out separate out and join the optic tract of the opposite side. So opposite side means राइट आई के जो फाइबर्स है that will go to the left side, जो लेफ्ट साइड के मिडिल फाइबर्स हैं वो राइट साइड के ऑप्टिक ट्रैक्ट में आ जाएंगे. बट एंड ऑल दिस क्रॉसिंग ओवर हैपेंस एट योर chiasm. So the important point, ऑप्टिक नर्व तो दोनों को कैरी करेगी, बट एट द chiasm वो लोग अपनी डायरेक्शन फ्रॉम द मीडियल सेम साइड का मीडियल फाइबर्स अपनी डायरेक्शन चेंज कर लेंगे और ऑपोजिट साइड के ऑप्टिक ट्रैक में ज्वाइन कर लेंगे. Now it is very easy. After the optic tract, they will be relaying to the lateral geniculate body. Lateral geniculate body, they will relate to what is the lateral geniculate body. This is basically the fibers relay, and if there is any reflexes, it is carried out by the lateral geniculate body, optic radiation, and the visual cortex. And from the optic tract, there are fibers which will relay to the visual cortex, which is in the posterior lobe of the brain, or the occipital lobe of the brain. That was it for this video. I hope you liked this, and let us meet up for the next video, which would be on the extraocular muscles. Thank you so much.